This conference will now be recorded.
So actually we saw high level and low level and also the characteristics of high level language and also the difference between Python 2 and 3. I'll just now show what is interpreted and compiled language. What is the difference? Okay. There are two types of language available in the market. One is interpreted, the other is compiled. Interpreted is nothing but the entire code is whenever you write any code, after when you run it, after you're writing code, you have to run it. When you run it, the compiler will go and check whether the syntax are good and whether you have appropriate colon or space or open and close brackets. All those syntax will be checked by the compiler. If it couldn't find a proper syntax, if you are not following any of the syntax rules, then it will be throwing you an error. It will not run the code. It will stop there with an error describing what went wrong in the code, in particular code. So here, in the compilation, there are two types, compilation and interpretation. So compiled languages are C++ and Java. So they are fast. The compiled languages are fast because the entire code is taken all at once and ran through the compiler. The compiler will run through the entire code. If there is any error at the last line, it's not going to execute any line. Even you have 100 lines and it found error on 100th line, it is not going to execute whatever there till 99 line. Everything will be stopped. Nothing is going to be executed. Nothing, no output will be given. Even for first 5 lines, they are good and you can get output out of it. It's not going to give you an output. So if any line is having error, it is going to throw an program error to a programmer. Okay. And it tend to be more difficult to learn. Those compile languages are. So coming on the other hand, we have interpreted languages, which is Python, JavaScript, and Ruby. And they are actually slow compared to compiled languages. If there is an error in 10th line, Python will execute till 9th line and print the output and then throw an error at the 10th line. So till 9th line, there is some print statement or some output we have mentioned to print some output. It will print the output of 9th line. Then for 10th line, it will throw an error. So you will see partial output of the program and then the error. It is not going to stop the whole program. So Python is actually designed in C. 34% of Python is from C language only. And the main advantage of Python is the Python library help us to build wonderful application. There are many libraries which will make our life easy, which means um, we can, we can depend on it. Most of the functions are already written in library. We just have to go and use them. So most of the work will be like using the functionalities available in the library. We need not write everything from the scratch. So whatever I've explained, I have put it in the document here for your reference. And important link to refer is Python doc. This is a doc officially created by the website officially created by the Python team, which will have almost all the details about Python. So this is where we downloaded Python from, right? And it has all the library reference, language reference using Python. It has many documents available here. You can go and get help from it. If at all you're looking for some help, we can go and search here. We can rely on this page. So the first thing we are going to see now, we will start with the language, the basic blocks of language. The first thing we are going to see is comparison operator in Python. So let's see what is comparison operator and why they are used, how they are used. So these are the comparison operator, greater than, less than, and equal to, and not equal to. If you are comparing two different values, how do you compare? You should have two different value, and you will tell either one value is greater than the other value, or one value is lesser than the other value, or both are equal, or both are not equal. These are the way to compare it. So what will happen when you compare? It when you ask Python to compare, it is going to tell you an output whether the comparison is correct or not. So how the output will look like is Boolean. Boolean. So Boolean is nothing but true or false. It is going to tell you whether the given output is true or false. The Boolean will be either true or false. Okay. So let me first show it here. So this is my Windows command prompt. When you give CMD here, you can get the command. You just have to open this. This is how I open this command prompt. And since I have Python installed in my system, I'm just typing Python. So for example, so this is a variable. Why A is variable is because I'm assigning value to it. So this is a container which holds this value. I'll tell in detail what is variable. We have a separate class on variables, but now just understand that inside this I'm assigning this value, which means A means 9. A holds 9, the value 9. Okay, in the memory, a container created called A. Inside the container 9 is placed. So imagine something like that, and I'm creating one more variable called B and assigning some value. So I am now asking Python if A greater than B. So is A greater than B? Yeah, 9 is greater than 4. So it is going to give me true. So this is a comparison operator and the output is Boolean. It is always Boolean. The comparison operator will always give you the Boolean value, Boolean output. Okay. So I'm again asking if A is less than B. No, A is not less than B. So it is going to give me false. I'm then asking A is not equal to B. Yes, A is not equal to B, so it is going to give me true. And A greater than equal to B. I'm asking if A is greater than or equal to B. It is going to give me true because A is greater than B. if I put it in this way, A equal to greater than B, here it's going to give me a error because you cannot give equal to before the greater than symbol or less than symbol. Always the greater than less than symbol should come first, then the equal to should come. So let me put it here only. So these are the comparison operators we have. So let's say is equal to 9. I'm executing it. You will see the output false. I'm asking if A is equal to B. Okay, this is actually not comparison, this is assignment. Why this is giving true? So A is 9 and B is 4. I'm asking if A and B are equal, it is telling false. I'm asking if A and B are not equal, it is telling true because A and B are not equal. But weirdly, Jupyter is giving me some different value. Okay, now it is working. Okay, so if A both are not equal, so it is giving false. Here I am asking if both are not equal, true, so it's giving me true. Then A is greater than equal to B. The other comparison is A is greater than equal to B. So the catch here is you cannot give equal to greater than. Equal to it shouldn't come before greater than, so you will be seeing an error, syntax error. Even equal to less than will not work. So I hope you are clear with what is comparison operator and why we are and what is the output will look like for the comparison operator. So here the thing is I have used double equal to compare if both are equal or not. Because if you give equal to, Python assumes that it is an assignment. It assumes that we are assigning value 9 to A. So that is why equal to is always an assignment operator. What it will do when you give equal to, what is there in the right side will be put inside the left side. This will act as a variable and the right side value will be added to the variable. Okay, so later when I call this variable, it means I'm calling this value using this value 9 here. Okay, so that is why since equal to is an assignment operator, for comparison we are using double equal to know if both are equal or not. Okay, So now let's see chained operation. So it's an interesting feature of Python because we have the ability to chain multiple comparisons to compare more complex things. Okay, to see chained operators, we should also know the other important statements in Python, which is and or. You should understand what is and or. So and is used to make sure two checks have to be true in order for the total check to be true. If you have two conditions, both the conditions should be true. Only then the output will be true. Okay. If you have two conditions and one is true and one is false, then it will and will give false. So let me show it an example so that you will understand it more. So I'm asking Python true and true. Here and is an operator. Okay. So I'm asking if both are true, what is the output? Output is true. I'm asking one is true and other is false. Then what is the output? It is going to give me false. Because when you use and, the both the condition you're combining using and should be true. If one is false, then obviously the output is false. Okay. So let me put it in this way. False and true. It is going to give me false, obviously. So what if both are false? So the output will be false again. So only for both the condition becoming true, the output will be true. For the remaining all scenarios, the output is always false. So this is what AND does. It evaluates two condition and gives you an output of both the result of two condition. Okay. So this will be useful when you start writing your program. You will understand why we have AND. For now, you just understand that if you're using AND, this is the output you're going to get. That is enough for now. Okay. Now let's come to R. So now let's see R, true or true. What is going to give me true? So I'm telling either or. If either one of the thing is true, give me the output as true. That's what I'm telling Python using R. So I'm just asking true or false. It is giving me true. Because either one is, at least one is true among both the condition. And then asking, so it is giving me true because one condition is true here. Here you would see the output as false because I'm telling at least one should be true, but here both are false. So that's why my output is false here. Okay, so this is the difference between and or. Now let's see the chained operation. Now you will understand the chained operation. And again, one more thing here I want to say is, see, when I give true, I'm giving capital T and then the remaining are small, right? What if I give true? It is, see, the color is not changed to green. True or false, you will get an error because the Python cannot understand what this true means. So it is case sensitive. Okay, so now let me try truu. Even this is going to fail because Python cannot understand this. So it should be the first, it should be in the capitalized way. The first letter should be capitalized, the remaining should be in the lowercase. So now let's come back to the chained operation, chained comparison operation. Here I'm comparing more than one. Okay. So I can do in this way, A is less than 2, less than 3. So I'm asking here if 1 is less than 2 and 2 is also less than 3. Here I'm asking two things. If both are true, it is going to give me true. Okay. Or I can do it in this way. 1 is 2 and 2 is 3. So see here, whatever I have given in the above statement, 1 less than 2 and 2 less than 3, the same thing I'm putting it in the different way. So I'm asking 1 is less than 2 and the next condition is 2 is less than 3. So I'm giving and, which means if both are true, give me true. That's what I'm asking Python to compare. That's how I'm asking Python to compare. So now let's see one more example. So here I'm asking 1 is less than 2 and 2 is greater than 3. So here this is going to be true, but this is going to be false. So how the output would look like? False, because one of the operation is going to give me false. False plus true, true and false, what we saw? True, true and false. If one is true and the other is false, you're going to get an output as false, right? So that's what we saw here. Let me put it another way. So it is going to give me true because both the condition are true. Now let's see or. Why I'm calling this as a chained operation is chained comparison is we are doing more than one comparison right here. So that's why it's called chained. It is possible only with the and or. So here I'm asking you 1 is equal to 2 and 2 is less than 3. Since at least here both are true, right? One is so no, here this is true. 2 is less than 3, but this is false. 1 is not equal to 2. So at least 1 is true. That is why your output is true. So you can try anything. I'm just giving a some example with 1, 2, and 3. You can put any condition here and any condition here and see how the output looks like. Okay. Here both the condition of false. 1 is not equal to 2 and 3 is not lesser than 2. So you got false. So here at least 1 is true. So we saw and or. What is this and or called? Let's see that. So there is something called logical operator. So we saw comparison operator, which is nothing but greater than equal to and double equal to or not equal to. So there is one more thing called logical operator. They are and not. So these three are logical operator. So we have seen what is the meaning of and or. So I hope you understand what is and or. Let me show what is not. So not is somewhat similar to not equal to. So here we saw something called not equal to, right? We saw an operator called not equal to. So it is similar to that, but it's not same. So how not equal to works? Not equal to works. It's an operator. Both the side we have different value. They are called operands. The value come on either side of operator is called operand. So it takes two operands and then see if they are not equal. If they are not equal, it is going to give you true, right? But here not will take only one operator. So not equal to, this symbol is taking two operands, but not will take only one operand. This logical operator not will take only one operand. Let's see that. So if I ask 5 is not equal to 10, your answer would be true because they are not equal. If I ask 2 is not equal to 2, then it is false because both are equal. So the same thing, the 5 is not equal to 2. How I can give is not of 5 equal to 10. So not is nothing but the opposite, right? If something is there, I am telling it's not there. So here I am asking if 5 equal to 10. What would be the output? 5 equal to 10. The output of 5 equal to 10 will be false, correct? Because they are not equal. And I am just giving not of false. Opposite of false is nothing but true. Okay, so it is going to give me true. So same, both are kind of similar, does the same work. It checks if both are not equal. Okay, but the way it works, here you have a two operand, here you have only one operand. Why I'm telling one operand here is what happens when you execute this. Python first goes and evaluate this part 5 equal to 10. So it will go and see if 5 equal to 10. It sees false, right? Now it will do not of false. So now it will replace false instead of this. It found value for this, that is nothing but false. It goes and replace false here. So that's what I have did here. And then it will execute. So here it is only one operand, right? Not of only one operand. But not here, there's not equal to, which is nothing but two operand. We are comparing two things. Guys, any doubt so far with the comparison operator, logical operator, or Boolean values and chained op comparison? We have seen four things today. Do you have any doubt, question? If you have any question, you can either talk, unmute yourself and talk, or you can put it in your chat. I'll just go through the question and I'll answer you. So the next topic which we are going to see is numbers in Python. So numbers are numbers, right? We know only numbers which is one, two, three. But in programming language, it is either integer or float. So in any programming language, it will be integer and float. In other programming language, they are called double, and they have multiple other data types for numbers. They have many data types in number, but in Python we have only two. One is either it is integer or float. The number will either fall inside integer category or float category. Okay. So now we will see why we have two category called integer and float, and um, how does that differ. Okay. So integer are these are integer. When you don't have decimal point, when you don't have the decimal point, they are called integer. It can be either positive or negative, but these are integer. When you have a decimal point, it's called float because it has this is called floating point, this number. This dot is called floating point. So whenever you have a floating point in your number, it is called float. So this is the main only difference between integer and float. So let's see. So why does Python has integer and float? All are number, right? Just there is a decimal point. Why does it matter? So in real world, a number is number. 1 minus 1, 8.310 or 3.145. All are number. But in Python, they are stored. Whenever you assign a number to a variable, it is indirectly stored inside the memory, right? So while storing, it is so there is a space it has to allocate before storing, right? If it is a variable, and if it's a variable is going to if you are assigning a paragraph, characters, if you're writing a paragraph and you're assigning it to a variable, anyway, the Python has to go and create a memory for it. If you are assigning only one digit number to a variable, it again has to go and create a memory for that particular variable and put the value inside that variable. Okay. So here the memory is a concern. So Python will decide beforehand how much space it has to allocate for each variable, because we shouldn't be shortage of memory, and at the same time it shouldn't assign more space one particular variable which is never used. So the memory will be wasted, right? It will not be used, otherwise it can be used by somebody else. So to avoid these memory issues, Python decides beforehand. So why does the memory uh, in memory differs whether it is a number or variable number or floating? Because after one dot you can give any number, right? Initially you will give 2, and you can change it to any number, right? After floating point, there is lots of number. It takes up lot of more space, and so the floating point takes more space compared to a uh, normal integer. So Python decides, for example, if the number is less than 100, it is going to assign some memory. Okay, so it knows if the number is less than 100, this much memory only I can allocate. That is enough for that particular variable to hold that integer. But if it is less than number, 1 is also less than number, 10 is also less than number, 99 is also less than number. On the other hand, 99.56789, this is also less than number. See here here the length is higher, right? So this is going to take more memory, because memory is nothing but a space which is directly depends on the length, your length of the number digits they are going to save there, right? So, or anyway, the Python won't store an infinite number of decimal point. You cannot keep on giving number. It is not going to do. It does eventually start to lose accuracy if you are going to give n number of digits after the decimal point. But it's really generally not a problem unless you need extreme precision. Okay, if you need extreme precision, there is no problem. It will cut short and store, but still you have lots of number after the decimal point. There are two more types also in Python, which is called complex and the other one is called long, but it's really rarely used, so that you would need not know what they are because they are never used in Python. The two important ones are integer and floating point. So only for the memory allocation thing, the numbers are divided into two categories. One is which comes with floating point, the other is which comes without floating point, that is called integer. Okay, so now the integers are whole number, positive and negative. So 57 is also integer, minus 10 is also integer. Okay, floating point on the other hands are also positive and negative. Even here you can give negative number, minus 6.1 is also a floating point. Okay, but they have a decimal after them. The only difference is they have a dot and they have some numbers after that dot. So you often will hear they will refer this as a floats. They'll not call floating point, but the programmers in the real world they call it as a floats. Okay. So the integer take up less space, floating point takes up more space. This is a final verdict about floating point and integer. This is the only reason they are divided so that the Python can decide how much memory it needs to allocate. If it knows that it is going to, if the number I'm going to give is pi float, it will beforehand go and allocate some extra space. That's only difference between float and integer. So let me show that. So there is something called some function called type. I'll anyway explain this type later in detail, but now if you put some value inside this, okay, in the open and close bracket, the Python will tell what type of value you have given inside it. Okay, this is an inbuilt function, which means it is already developed inside Python. You just have to go and use it. You have to know how to use it. So inside type, you have to give any value. Here, if I give 9, it is going to tell integer. Int means integer. And here 9.0. So there is nothing here. I just have dot zero. I don't have anything else. Literally both are same, right? Both are 9 only. There is no value also after this dot. Only 0 I have given. But still you have the dot and you have some number after dot. Okay. So it's called float. Literally both are same. 9 and 9.0 both are same. But still it's called float. Okay. So now I have a quiz. So tell me what the type of 1 plus 2.0 would be. What would be the type of this? Can somebody answer? Try, give a try.
Float,
You,
float,
so why are you telling it's float?
because it will be 3.0.
Mhm. So the thing here is, if any part of the expression is float, here in this expression we have two number, 1 and 2.0. If one part is float, obviously the whole result will also be like, let's not run this, I'll first show. 1 plus 1, the output is 2, right? But if I give 1 plus 2.0, sorry. So if I give 1 plus 2.0, the output will always be in float. So if any part of the expression is float, the result will also be float. Since the result is float, the type will also be float, right? put the comment here. Yeah, then one more thing is I will also show what is comment. But see here, I've given ash symbol, and I have written something here after that. Python is not taking this into consideration. Let me let me remove this ash symbol. Okay. So here Python is going to throw an error because it cannot understand what, if any part. It cannot read this. It cannot understand like how we human beings understand this line, right? So it understand till here, but after that it couldn't recognize why they have given space, why the programmer has given if. So here what I did, I just given Ash, which means I'm indirectly telling Python, see, this is a comment. This I have written for my understanding, or my fellow developer is coming and checking my code. He is going through my code. He will understand because I have given some instruction here for the fellow human being to understand. That's all. So don't execute this. Don't consider this in your execution. Omit this part. That's what I'm telling Python. We will also see why we really need comments in any programming language, in any program. But now, so I have commented it out, which means Python is not going to execute it. Okay. So here I have added a comment. Okay. I have few more quizzes. Which one of the following is not float? So there are a list of numbers which is not float. Okay. Ashok
0.
had said 0. Okay.
Yeah,
So only
0.
0 is not float. The remaining all have a decimal point inside it. Okay. Then one more question. 1.0 plus 4. What is the type of this output? Is it integer or float? Type of the expression result. This is an expression because we are doing something. There would be a
Float.
result after this.
Float.
Okay. Okay. So here, the important thing we have to notice is what is the range of float and integer. So both float and integer will be in the range of minus infinity to plus infinity. Okay, both float and integer will be in this range. Minus, it will have minus infinity. It can also go till plus infinity, but the only difference is a decimal point. Okay, so before going to the next topic, I'll wind up the session because if I go into the next topic, it is going to take more time to complete it. Let's see some more topics tomorrow, and we will have quiz as well. So first few classes will be like the basic blocks. People who have had experience in programming languages, it would be little boring. But believe me, after 4 to 5 classes, we'll be start writing our own code. It will be way more interesting. So people who have a little experience in programming language, uh, please bear with me for next few classes because I'm just targeting for people who do not know anything about computer programming language. I'm just focusing on them. So slowly, after 4 to 5 classes, it will be more interesting. So guys, anybody has any doubt on any of the topic we covered today? Okay. If there is no doubt, then we can wind up. And one more thing is, when I give some quiz, this is only for fun part. I'm not judging anybody. Most of the quiz which I will be asking is which I have not thought before. I would have not thought this what is float, how the output of this will be. We have never seen this, but before seeing this, I was just asking the quiz. That is the main purpose of quiz in my course. So you just play a guess game. We will see how the output will then look. Sometime it will be like how we judged. Sometime it will be weird. It will be opposite of what we thought it would be. But that's fine. It's a fun, right? So everybody please respond to me during the course, which will help me to know whether you understood or not. So guys, that's all for this for today. Let's meet tomorrow with some new topics. We can wind up the session here. Thank you guys.
Thank you.